Hi, I'm Kevin Tame, and welcome to the Hacktivist. Today I am playing Funding Val, and the deck I'm playing against is a Sportsmetal deck that's using Jinja and Ultraviolet Clearance, to build a really big server. Funding Val, the basic concept here is to use Turning Wheel and get accesses on R&D and HQ. You Rebirth into Omar. You also are going to be landing mining accidents, so you're going to hopefully get a lot of bad pub. The other thing is you have the Archivist that allows more bad pub to get more bad pub. Datasucker and Ice Carver help make your breakers a little more efficient, and then the big engine here is crowdfunding. If you can get that down, that actually one of the problems with Val that I really find is actually draw, and so there's Earthrise. I've had worse. Inject, and then the crowdfundings are just another draw engine. So it actually helps you get through your deck pretty quick if you can get the crowdfundings down. So anyways, let's jump right in this match and take a look and see how it goes. Okay, so this is a relatively decent starting hand. I have the Corroder and the Inject, so I'm not going to lose Corroder. That's my biggest risk, is losing Corroder, and it has Sure Gamble, so I'm going to actually keep this hand. My opponent go ahead and pre-reses Rashida, and I'm just going to go ahead and get a Turning Wheel down and Dirty Laundry into HQ. Luckily, I see a corporate sales team, which is nice. So my opponent goes ahead and pre-reses Jinja and Rashida because they probably don't want me to kill Hacktivist. So I go ahead and run turn 1 to go ahead and trash this stuff. This is actually a pretty good tempo hit for my opponent. They lost credits for resing Jinja, plus also they lose Rashida, and then they have to find another Jinja. It's one of their core pieces. So here I just want to take some time to kind of set up. I have a mining accident. My opponent is not super rich right now because they haven't res much ice. So click 1, I'm going to next turn I'm going to try and push, and hopefully they res like a Fairchild 3 or something like that. So my opponent doesn't res. They're pretty poor. They don't want to spend the money. I'm assuming that's a Fairchild 3. So I'm going to do this mining accident. And so now that opens up, I believe I can run HQ again for free. And what's nice is I get money, I'm getting turn wheel counters. Yeah, just all around pretty good. The ideal is to land mining. My opponent did pay the 5, which is actually, I think, the smart move. It kind of stinks at the time because I get a lot of accesses, and it makes them pretty poor. They're not able to recover a lot. Also, this violet level clearance is kind of mistimed for them as well because they have, what's the word? They don't have Jinja. So they're on a surveyor deck. So I'm assuming that their agenda suite is probably Ikoa Project at this point and SSL. So this was actually a misrun. I should have this turn ran HQ first in case it was the Fairchild 3. And I go ahead and trash the other Jinja. So now my opponent has lost 2 of their Jinjas. And so my opponent's pretty poor here. They don't have Jinjas. They don't have one of their most important cards. And I can't steal that Ikoa Project, but I know it's the next card down. So right now it's on the top of R&D. So my plan here this turn is to figure out how I can go in and get it. So I'm going to do an Omar run, force my opponent to res or whatever it is. So this is a Hagen. I'm on 5 credits. Cost me 4 to break, so I don't have enough credits to steal the Ikoa Project. So I'm going to go ahead and poke R&D here. And with this poke on R&D, I'm hoping they won't be able to res. Unfortunately, they had enough credits to res Architect, and now they can actually see the Ikoa Project and know that I'm going to try and steal it. But they are on 1 credit, which is bad for them. However, their ice is all pretty good, so it's hard for me to actually make runs. So they put Ikoa Project into server 1. They then go ahead and install Jinja over it, trashing Ikoa Project. So now Ikoa is in archives. I actually didn't know that was a thing, so I had to go check with General. I was like, wait, does an upgrade overwrite? And I guess anytime you install on a server, you can overwrite anything. And so that was my bad. That doesn't happen very much, where someone trashes an agenda for something else. But it's possible. So I know there's an Ikwa in Archive, so I was planning on getting it next turn. They actually, it was a good play for them. They had attitude adjustment, and attitude adjustment allows you to shuffle 2 cards from HQ or R&D, and so they were able to do that. And so now here I'm really poor, so I'm in kind of a setup mode, but my opponent's poor as well. I'm not really paying attention to what is on server 1. It's not really a viable remote for me anymore. They are poor, so I might be able to go in and deal with it, but I don't really want to. I'm kind of just focusing my energies on forcing them to res centrals. So here I go ahead and I only do a single access because I want to have an extra click to be able to play Mining Accent, because I really want that bad pub. That bad pub is going to help me get through Architect and Fairchild 3 and all these stuff on their centrals. And the reason I didn't access more cards is that if I saw an Ikwa project, I mean, maybe it's better just to steal, so maybe I just do, but I was thinking I really wanted to land the bad pub that turn. So here I'm thinking about installing the Archivist, and I'm trying to think about their agendas. Like SSL and Ikwa project are both security and initiatives. So so I was just trying to see, like, hey, will I get any value from installing this Archivist? I don't install it yet, but I'm just kind of waiting on it. So here I'm in a pretty good place now. I'm poor, however I have 16 credits on Liberated Accounts, and I have crowdfunding coming in. So this is actually going to give me an opportunity to kind of set up a little bit and recover. It also gives my opponent an opportunity. That's okay here. So my opponent installed what I'm assuming is a Chrysium grid. I had seen it earlier on R&D, and so now I'm able to, I need to go in, and if it forces them to res, it costs them 2 credits, it costs me 5, which is a bit of a pain, but I need to get rid of it now before they have too much money to be able to res this outermost piece of ice on Archives. I forgot to take Trickster Taka, so my opponent, I'm asked, hey, like, I'm going to take this. One thing you want to do is you always want to be taking your Trickster Taka tokens, because if you ever have an opportunity where you're sitting back, like, and you get to 3 credits, it can be a real pain, because you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to use them, and then you have to trash it or take a tag. And I have too many resources to take a tag. So here I'm just trying to get an extra counter on Turning Wheel, and my opponent's deciding what they want to do. I do have MK in the bin. I'm assuming Architect. Architect is usually a good outermost piece of ice in this situation. So I'm assuming it's like an Architect, or maybe even Eli. Eli would be ideal. If it was Eli, I can just bounce off. Cost them 3 to res. But it's not, so that's actually pretty good because it costs them 4 to res. I was able to install for free with my bad pub and then break for 3. But I still have some money, so I'll be able to kind of use Liberated and get back up. My opponent reasonably can't score, I don't think, from server 1 because they've been so poor. They can't res any of this ice, and I could, in theory, Stimhack in and be able to get in. So it's not a good play for them to try and jam right now, even though I think they want to. So here's a little bit of a mistake. They accidentally resed Arella, and I didn't know what they were asking me to do, but like they had undone the click, and my current went back into my temporary zone, so I had to fix it. So that's why I jumped ahead the video. So they go ahead and install or they score out the Vitruvius that was in the in server 1. But here I just kind of want to keep putting pressure on. I see an SSL, which is nice. And here I'm going ahead and check R&D again. I think this is a misplay because they haven't resed this, and I'm assuming it must have been, I didn't actually know what it was, but seeing the Fairchild 3 on click 2 is kind of a pain. So I have to let all the stuff fire, but I'm only going to pay 3 and then trash the Archivist. It's not really adding any value for me right now. So in theory, it's like 1 click to install 1 credit. So it cost me, basically that sub cost me 2 that instead of 3. And then I access a bunch of cards. I think my opponent gave me brain damage. I think the right play for them actually is to end the run. I think they must know at that point R&D is getting a little thick with agendas. So, and then I have a turning wheel counter, so I'm gonna be able to see 3 cards. Anyways, that's Funding Val. That's kind of how it works. I was a little poor. I didn't get the engine going as best I could, but the nice thing about it is when you're in situations like that, you can keep the pressure up. If I had Datasucker token or Ice Carver, it would have made a big difference on runs. I would have been able to deal with the Fairchild much better, especially when you have like It's still a little expensive, but if you have the bad pub and you have Trickster Taka, you're able to really, I think, get in for pretty cheap. Anyways, that's my first reflection that I'm going to do. I'm going to do a few more of these over the coming weeks because I'm really enjoying this deck. I think it's actually a really powerful deck and pretty strong. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye.